Good evening, it is Thursday. I started my very first day of school today in my senior year, which is absolutely fine. But I will remind you that I started classes last Tuesday for DMAC, one of which Comp 2 it lends to the inspiration for today's vlog. In Comp 2, I was assigned to read and summarize the first 30 pages of our textbook, which is essentially about academic reading, and mostly about how academic work, that is to say like essays and case studies and lab reports, all feed into a larger discussion, both in its discipline and to the world around it. And that is not an epiphany in itself. That's should be fairly obvious. But at the same time, I think needs some reassertion and perspective, especially as a student who I've spent so much time writing lab reports and essays, and I just cannot escape the knowledge that I am doing it for the purpose of getting the grade. And lab reports are on labs that have been done thousands of times and don't generate new knowledge because we know what happens. We've done that lab to illustrate a concept that we have been taught. And so it's very easy to forget that the reason why people do lab reports is to share knowledge with the rest of the communities, share their findings in there, and that essays are written to put forward new perspectives or reasonings on why things happen and to illustrate data and to show the relationship between certain factors and how they affect the populace or whatever it is that you're studying. I am reminded of the work that I was involved in at the University of Chicago using CRISPR and yeast that was based off of a study done at the University of Illinois Champaign. That's where we got all of our materials from. And it's like it inspired our design and it influenced our factors and all of that. And it's just an important note that it's all part of a large community, and it's those conversations between people within a discipline that move things forward. And it's the conversation between the discipline and the rest of the world that affects how we view it and how we vote on it. But for now, just know that it's important. And so I went on to summarize this whole thing about academic work and all that, and I was writing that in academic writing, unlike creative writing, we're joining a larger conversation, and I realized that that was completely wrong. Because of course, creative writing does pertain to a larger conversation. When we read a book and really enjoy it, it's not just because we feel that the characters were motivating or that the author used really, really great descriptive detail. It's that the book said something about life, or something about ourselves, or something about communities that we found either relatable or sensible or generated some sort of a response. And poetry, we don't just like it because it rhymes sometimes or because it's a cool number of syllables. It's because it puts forward these different ideas. Sometimes they contrast and it adds this greater complexity in media that I talked about last week. And so I'm just curious, what conversations matter to you? What parts of your life or what you've seen that others experience motivates you enough to join that conversation, whether it's through academic work or through creative writing? Megan, you specifically, there's this conversation about what someone would do with a collection of peppermints if they found them sentimental, and I really think it needs your voice. So that is my assignment to you this week. And Melissa, I know you write an awful lot of fan fiction and other things as well. Let's just take a moment to reflect on what motivates us to write the things that we do. And with that, I wish you all the best in your upcoming week.